Okay, let's talk about putting resin over decoupage paper. Before we get started though, let me show you, this table was wonky. So I had to flip her down and take the wheels off and just to make it balanced. Then look at this Mint by Michelle paper. Oh my gosh, I am in love with this little guy. He is so cute. Anyway, I wanted to put him on top of this table, and this table has a leather finish to it, but that's okay. You can go ahead and paint right over it. What I'm doing now is I'm giving it a little bit of chalk paint. There's a reason you do this, because when you put the paper down, the white of the paint brightens up your design. I'm going to be able to show you in just a second what happens when you don't. So here is a close-up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paper down and I'm going to strategically place it where I want. Then I'm just going to run my fingernail around the edge, and that'll give me a score, so that way I can just cut that edge and it'll fit perfectly right on this table. All right, so after I do that, I'm going to grab my Pent Art Decoupage Medium Glue. This is my go-to. I really like this. It comes in both silky, shine, or matte. It doesn't matter what I need, which one I use on this one, because I am going to be putting resin over it. So the last time I did decoupage, I had some wrinkles. So this time I wanted to go very slow and methodically and make sure I didn't have any wrinkles. So what I did was I folded back the paper and started right in the middle. And I tried to apply the decoupage medium as even as possible. I'm going to go ahead and do this in sections. So as I lay down the medium, I'm trying not to get any pulled up portions of the decoupage medium. So when I put the paper on, there won't be an increased risk of the wrinkles. Okay, so now that I have the decoupage on, whoops, I just flung it across. I'm going to carefully push down from the outside into the table and to the glue, and I'm not pushing too hard, but I am a little firm. If I push too hard, I could possibly tear the paper, and I don't want to do that. So what I do is I keep doing this section by section until I have the entire piece of paper laid down. I'm using the palm of my hand. I'm pressing in just little pushes, just because I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any bubbles or any wrinkles. Now, I only put the white chalk paint where I knew the paper would go. However, I missed the upper right-hand corner, and this is why you want to add the white paint. Take a look at this. Look as I zoom in. See that little area right there? That is where I did not get the white chalk paint. So that is what would happen if you didn't use the chalk paint underneath it. It just brightens it up. All right, so now blending. This is the very tricky part. I love this part, even though it takes me, it takes me a little while to figure out the right colors and everything, but I love the challenge. So right now I'm using brighter yellow, and then I'm going to just frame in the bottom with the black. And then I'm just going to get a bunch of colors that I see in that background, and I'm just going to blend, mush, mush, and just keep blending till I get the look and the colors that I think match the paper to the best ability. Sometimes the paper is really hard, really tricky to match, but I seem to sometimes get pretty close. So um, when you see my final result, you be the judge and let me know. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to use a little brown. I'm grabbing a round brush just because I want to dab with just little on. I want to see how this color reacts with the yellow next to the paper. And I'm not a big fan, so back to the drawing board. Okay, so I've grabbed a few more colors and I'm just going to play blend. Mainly I'm tapping. I'm not really swishing, blending it together yet. I'm just trying to still see what matches, what works, and what doesn't. The yellow is still a little wet, so this color is kind of smushing into the yellow and combining to hopefully come up with that background color. Okay, so now that I have it blended the way that I want, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the black. So I grabbed a thinner paintbrush and I'm going to try to recreate and continue on the black lines that are behind both sides of the owl. Next, I decided to just paint the sides of the table. I wish now that I would not have done the black and I should have just left it the brown. Um, I just think it would have looked nicer if I left the brown. So what I'm doing now is I'm going around the edges, making sure I have all of the chalk paint off because what I'm going to use next is the No Pain Gel Stain by Dixie Belle. This will make that wood grain around the owl pop and clean the edges, like if there's any scratches or nicks, it'll kind of blend it all together. Now this is what I wish I would have done where the black was, but that's okay. It still looks pretty cool. So I'm going to put it around the owl, around the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the legs too. It's really super easy to use. You can either rag it on, brush it on, and you can put on as many coats as you want to get to the desired shade you like. Okay, so next I'm going to use this pouring resin by Fusion. I have never used this before. I've resined plenty of tables, but with the old way of mixing the resin half and half, stirring it up, getting rid of all the bubbles. But I thought I'd give this a try because this is generally used for paint pouring where you tinge it or tint it a little bit, and then you pour it on the top of your dresser and you roll it back and forth. But I thought, why not give this a try over the owl? So everything was going perfect until I moved it out of the way so it could dry without anybody touching it, leaving fingerprints. But it floor wasn't even, so I had to pour more resin on top, and this time I used a level. So make that note. Don't make my mistake that I made. All right, so here is the finished product. What do you think? Isn't he just the cutest little thing? Oh my gosh, I just love him. I hope you like him too.